Hi, this is Patty Miner, and I wanted to share with you a book that I just finished about P.T. Barnum. And then I went to the movie last night called The Greatest Showman, which was about P.T. Barnum. So it's really interesting to see what's, the truth. Of course, it was a very good movie, and it had a lot of music. If you liked La La Land, then you would like it, except it has a happy ending, but it's a really good show with Hugh Jackman. So, about P.T. Barnum, I learned a lot of things, but I'll narrow it down to three main things. Let's start at the very beginning. He was an author, he was a speaker, he was a philanthropist, but he considered himself a showman, and he called himself a showman. He started Barnum's Grand Theater and Scientific Museum. And what he wanted to do was to find people who were different, who people stared at anyway, like the albino or the bearded lady, or someone very short, or someone very tall, or someone very fat, someone very albino-like looking, or somebody different than the regular New York society. And he wanted to showcase them and give them talents and teach them to sing and dance and entertain and to get paid for and to actually have a self-esteem and a family. He wanted them to be happy. But he also was a great advertiser. He was really good. He was known as the Shakespeare of advertising. So he was really good at advertising. One of the first guys he came across was Tom Thumb. He nicknamed Tom Thumb, forgot his real name, but he adopted him at age 4, and he was just really short, and his parents were embarrassed of him, and he taught him to sing and dance and do musical theater, and he dressed him up like Napoleon or a general, or he would, make him, he'd teach him how to ride horses, and he made him famous. He made him very famous. By the time he was 21 years old, Tom Thumb was only 2 feet 11 inches. So he really was a perfectly proportioned short person. And he was very outgoing and had a good self-esteem, mostly because of P.T. Barnum, Phineas Taylor Barnum. And he ended up buying his own career and going on the road by himself without P.T. after he got older. The next one he discovered was Jenny Lind. She was known as the Swedish Songbird, and she had a charity for Swedish children that was her passion. And she was very sweet and kind, and she was very talented, had a beautiful, clear, lyrical, operatic voice. And P.T. Barnum saw that and thought, oh my gosh, I need to bring her to America. She would sell out. So he offered her an unprecedented, I think it was $1,000 a night for 150 nights. Now, he had to take a loan from his house and all that he owned in order to pay her up front. She wanted it up front for the charities for her Swedish children. So she went to America and she started touring. And before she got to a city, P.T. Barnum would advertise like crazy. He had advertising everywhere. He had pull-down posters up everywhere. He was just a Shakespeare of advertising. And this is in the 1800s, so he was amazing before his time. And he was a great advertiser, so that people wanted her tickets so badly that he would auction them off. So by the time she had done 93 tours, 93 different performances, she didn't quite get the 150. She had earned $350,000, and Barnum had earned $500,000, which is equal to about $14 million in 2017. So it was quite the ordeal that they had earned so much money on Jenny Lind. And he had so many problems, though. He had 2 buildings burned down. He went bankrupt, and he still kept going. Of course, he had his sorrow and his time where he just thought, oh no, everything's lost. But then he got up and started something new. He created the first aquarium. Nobody had seen an indoor glass with all of these amazing creatures from the sea. He created the first wax museum, where there were wax figurines of people who were famous that he could research, find, see. He created, at age 60, this is quite a long time later, he created the first circus. This was with all his museum people and Jumbo the elephant. He made that elephant very famous. It was an African elephant that knew a lot of tricks and was very tame, had been, amazing. And then in 1881, there was another circus that was starting from James Bailey that could have been a competition, but P.T. Barnum made a merger out of it. And they became the greatest show on earth, the Barnum and Bailey Circus, which he sold to the Ringling Brothers. It was the only circus that had 3 full rings with live lions and tigers and trained elephants and acrobats and the 2-headed guy and the albino gal and the bearded lady who was a great singer. So he had some amazing acts that could do some amazing, really entertaining things. And he finally sold it to Ringling Brothers, which became the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus that toured all around the world that we know today. I think it's still going. But anyway, then he became a temperance lecturer, where he would teach values, and he was very great showman. He was hilarious. He was funny. Everybody loved to listen to him. So he became a speaker. He was against slavery. He was against anybody judging anyone else. He was really a good person, even though he was a great advertiser and known as a scoundrel because of his advertising. They said he made it sound more amazing than it was. And there were a few things he did, but most of the things in there were absolutely accurate. And he helped to change the public opinion about theater. Before, anything in the theater was considered vulgar or gross or bad, and so any family would never go to the theater. But he made the temperance lectures into theater style. And so he made Shakespearean plays into theater style. He did Uncle Tom's Cabin. He did a lot of plays in theater style, which made it family friendly. So therefore, he changed public opinion to become family friendly, which was, I'm sure Disney's thankful to him today. But anyway, there are some quotes that I have here from P.T. Barnum. The noblest art is that of making others happy. Isn't that a great quote? And he said, I will loose my camel and trust it to God. No, 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 said the prophet. Tie thy camel and trust it to God. So still take care of the things that you have, and then trust that to God. He said, let your motto then be Excelsior, for thy living up to it is, there's no such word as fail. So he wanted to say, keep going as high as you can. Then he said, with all your might, mind, and strength. This is one thing about success that he taught us. Whatever you do, do it with all your might. Work at it, if necessary, early and late, in season, out of season, not leaving a stone unturned and never deferring for a single hour that which can be done as well as now. So he taught us to be successful by kind of being obsessed about what you're good at, what you want to do, what you expect out of life. There was another one called Fortune Always Favors the Brave and Never Helps a Man Who Does Not Help Himself. So we all need to do something to help humanity. He said advertising is to a genuine article what manure is to land. It largely increases the product. So advertising was important. And he said, there is no bad advertising. He said, I don't care what you say about me in the articles as long as you spell my name correctly. So he said, good advertising, bad advertising, it's all advertising, and it gets people and it gets people to buy tickets for his shows. The other thing was knowledge. The possession of a perfect knowledge of your business is an absolute necessity in order to ensure success. So the perfect knowledge of your business. Keep learning, keep growing, keep doing, keep evolving. And he was evolving until his death. Like he was completely active and involved in the museums, in the arts, in the circus, in temperance, in everything. And he says, I don't care what the newspapers say about me as long as they spell my name right. That was the last quote I wrote down. So I think the most thing that we learned from him is that we You have to work with all your might and talent and learn everything you can. Number 2, gain knowledge about what you need to do in your business. And then 3, never give up. And we can learn that from P.T. Barnum. It was a good movie, The Showman, and it was really fun to see all the I loved the dancing and the singing. It's a very much of a musical, and it was well done. And that's the background story. And I was really thankful that I had already finished this book about it. And so I hope that gave you some value, and I hope that you can have success in the new year. And thank you for watching.